Welcome to Dependable Flame, where we explore vintage petrol lighters, ashtrays, tobacconiana, and other useful mechanisms. Make yourself at home. Today we are going to fuel up and fool around with this vintage Firefly Flick automatic petrol lighter made in Buffalo, New York by General Research Company. This is a lighter that we have installed an old Dunhill blue flint in a while back, and I believe that when it is not suffering from vapor lock, it is a reliable, dependable lighter, and that's what we are going to endeavor to show you in this and perhaps a follow-up video. I say a follow-up video because this lighter is not fueled at the moment. See that it does spark, but I haven't had any fuel in here in over a month now. But the last couple of times that I have fueled this up, it did not immediately appear to be dependable, reliable, the way that you would need a lighter to behave if you were going to fuel it up, put it in your pocket, and use it to light up your smokes. But after leaving it set for a day or two, the vapor lock in it seems to calm down, and it appears to work much better. So we will take a look real quick, just because this will probably end up being the video that we embed into the eBay listing when we list this lighter for sale. You can see that couple things here. When you remove the spring, then the snuffer will just fall. There's no pressure on that file wheel, and that is all integrated in there together. Another thing, which some of those just fell out into my hand, is you can see that there are compartments for spare flint here in this Firefly Flick. There you can see those two that did not fall out. Here is the old Dunhill blue flint that is in the lighter, and with which it seems to operate just fine. These do seem to be much harder to find these days. The last couple packages that I bought from International Vintage Lighters were the newer kind, a brighter blue coating on them, and they do not seem to spark as generously as the old ones. So we will drop that back down the tube. We've got our generic eBay red flints here in our spare flint compartments. And now we will put our flint spring back down the tube, and that was what I was showing you originally, is that the flint spring and the flint spring screw do not actually lock in together, but rather the screw seats the spring, and then you just thread it down, which of course then puts pressure on your file wheel and keep that from falling in the upside down position as it was earlier. So now we've got that grooved, and we will open up our fuel cap. And use our dropper to put Ronsinol in the tank. And we are going to try, as we might, not to overfill this lighter. There's one dropper, and as you can see, no standing fuel just yet. So we will go for dropper number 2. still appears to be absorbing that. So here's dropper number 3, and I would think this would be when we will run into a problem of pooling fuel. And maybe not quite yet. I still don't see a great deal of fuel pooling in there, if any at all. Actually, it appears as though the cotton material has absorbed all of the fuel so far. So let's give it one more drop. There's 4 droppers. We'll replace our fuel screw. This lighter looks to me like it's probably got a similar capacity for fuel to a Cygnus, and a Cygnus will only hold just a little bit over 2 droppers, where this one held about 4. So not lighting yet. The wick does not appear to be wet. Yeah, maybe a little bit damp. So perhaps in my attempt not to overfill it, well, there it finally lights on. What is that? Probably the 5th or 6th strike. So perhaps I did not overfill it. Perhaps it is just on the verge of being filled to the capacity that would be optimal. Maybe if we leave the snuffer down for a moment, we will build up vapor and be able to ignite the lighter at will as we would hope to. So again, that was, I don't know, at least 4 or 5 strikes before it finally ignited. So what I'm going to do is add another dropper. And perhaps even fill it to overfull and then shake it out, which that definitely, that time, that wadding looks damp now. So I'm going to give this a little shake off camera just in case, just to shake out what might cause us some vapor lock problems at the moment. Okay, and there was a little bit that shook out of there. We will make a follow-up video to this tomorrow once the fuel has had a chance to stabilize, not be so volatile in there, not be overfilled, and not exhibit those characteristics of vapor lock, and hopefully show this lighter to be a working, reliable Petrol lighter. And as you can see, definitely appears to be overfilled with fluid. We've struck it now about 10 times. And my hands, both of them, are going numb on me. The left one causes me constant problems in that regard with the carpal tunnel. Right, not quite so bad, but with that striking action of my thumb, definitely not ideal. So after about 15 strikes, there you see it. Not what I would call reliable, But we'll just see how this slider reacts tomorrow once the fuel volatility has settled down a bit. Until next time.